Okay, all right. My name is Nicholas.
Hi,
I've been working on like mostly I usually write like poetry, but I'm working on like more of a narrative now, and I'm gonna read the first 2 pages of what I've been working on. Let me know what you think. I haven't written on the typewriter in a bit. I don't think that I've had writer's block, but I've just been generally lazy. I went and I met a Persian girl today. She asked me to meet at the Angel Fountain in Central Park. I got off at 72nd from the C train. The J and M were down for some reason, and I hated the G train, but it was my only option, sadly. So it took me about 56 minutes to get there. Probably took her the same. She lived on 172nd. She was a dental student at Columbia. She was smart, but she didn't boast a lot. She was gullible as hell, too. She laughed a lot. She was really pretty, and she smiled in every photo. At least that's what she said. And after I was testing myself, I was displeased to know it was true. Should I not smile? No, just don't do anything. I took her photo, and she smiled back at me anyway. People are generally odd. At least that's what I've found since meeting so many new people. But, I mean, I'm odd, too. Do you watch any shows? I said, knowing that I wasn't an avid watcher of anything. No, I don't have a TV. I like that. TV was a waste. It was nice for inspiring visual scenes, but generally useless other than that. I've been reading a lot more these days. This was my first time meeting Parisa. She had beautiful photos, and she seemed overly excited to meet me. She saw me at the park fiddling with my Super 8 before I met up with her. She was a lot shorter than I had imagined, but she was definitely great looking. It confused me, and sadly enough, I was so confused at first I attempted to convince myself she was ugly, and that's why she was so excited and enthused about meeting me. Upon investigation, which, only took me a few moments, I was definitely wrong. The kids at school used to call me a boo. Sweetie, I don't know what or who that is. It's the baboon from Aladdin. Why couldn't I just be Jasmine? You don't look like a boo. I don't know who that is, but still, you don't. I know, but that's what they said, and I got made fun of a lot, and I got a nose job, too. She showed me some photos of when she was maybe 15 or 16 and had braces. I think she expected me to validate her. I didn't. She told me that she felt like the black sheep, even with her family. She described it more in passing, saying that her grandmother would take her mom on vacations, leaving her and her sister back. And of course my dad, too. There's a lot of controversy there. He went to jail and all. Why did he go to jail? Domestic abuse. Well, there was an uncomfortable silence, and she just laughed. She preferred to laugh. It didn't seem like anything was generally of interest to her. She could just laugh. He was a genius, though. He has an IQ of 180 or something. I think that he went to college at 13, or maybe he was 15, and he helped with the Hubble telescope, too. That's crazy, I thought to myself. I wanted more of the story, all of it, but I felt like a starved vampire smelling fresh blood. Was she my muse, or was she just a spectacle? Did I even like spending time with her? I knew that I wanted to fuck her, but that was just like another question of curiosity. We didn't even kiss. We hugged as we parted ways, and it wasn't something that I necessarily needed or wanted to get over with, because I had the type of curiosity that might just die if I did, and I fed off curiosity. It sustained me. I read a theory once about addiction that you can only be truthfully addicted to something that wasn't totally satisfying, because then you would always go back for more. I like to tease myself like that, because or else I'll just get bored and move on to the next thing. I think she was 23, and it surprised her when I told her that I was 27. She thought I was more like 25, as if the 2 years mattered at all, and we laughed. She told me that she had a boyfriend one time, but she wasn't sure if it had counted. He was boring and not affectionate, and he was just an NPC. She was innocent. I think that's what made me feel curious about her. That was
It's giving Catcher in the Rye.
I gotta be more terrifying with these notes and
Thank you.
Wait, okay, it kind of was, because I was getting this, arrogance that was almost, slightly, flavored with, anger. Mm-hmm. I'm what are you angry about? What are you projecting onto this girl? Or, what is the character projecting onto the girl?
Oh, it's real life. This is a real
I
thing
think
that
it's a
happened.
narrative.
It is.
Oh, were you angry?
No, it's just, I feel like sometimes when I'm observing things, I'm not there, I'm just more observing them. And sometimes I'm taking them as stark and just black and white.
So kind of
Pulling myself out of this situation and not feeling the reality around it. Mm-hmm. I'm more using things as
so it's
spectacles.
more like data sets
Exactly.
instead of Yeah. Okay.
Being-
That
instead
that
of
makes
being there,
sense.
yeah.
Something there. Interesting.
There's this moment that stood out to me where you say, I think it's like she's odd, I'm odd too.
Yeah.
And that stood out to me because, we're learning so much about this girl or how you're perceiving her. And it makes me curious, like, what the relationship is between when you're perceiving somebody else and you're picking up on all these things and how that reveals things to you about yourself as well.
Yeah. So I think that's like the main goal is like, because even after this, like I never write about her again. She's done after that. I think it's like one of the
That's all she gets.
Yeah, it's all she gets. But I think I'm using like a passing story to tell you more about whoever's talking.
Yeah.
Because exactly. So like commenting on certain individual things that either like I wouldn't say I dislike, but I'll tell you that I dislike it. So it's like more of flourishing a character that's talking by using other characters to do so.
You should send this to her.
Yes.
She was gonna come tonight.
I'm gonna read it.
No. I had alternatives. Yeah. I thought about that.
I've been live streaming to her personally.
I mean, I still thought about reading it too, because it's just like I was writing before this, and I was writing about the idea of writing about someone and reading it while they're there and having them ingest it. And it's just an interesting.
Yeah, what's the line? What's the line between what you'll write privately and what you'll say
There
to
is no
someone's
line.
face?
There is no line.
Interesting.
You would say this to her if she
Yeah.
was here.
I mean, I think it's part of the art. It's like if I took a photo, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did it. I took the photo.
Yeah.
Why am I lying to you? And it's like I think it's even worse when people write things and never tell people about it.
I would agree
It's
with
like
that.
I think you're lying to yourself worse, and then everyone else thinks that you're someone else.
But how do you make sure it feels righteous? And I don't mean this in a
Honesty
God
isn't
sense,
evil.
Noah. But I mean
Honesty
like,
is
just
righteousness.
yeah, like
honesty
I mean,
isn't
because I
evil.
think some people can read it. Now I'm
Yeah.
not reading this way.
Yeah,
But like I think I'm maybe a little bit like you, right? I tell people.
Yeah.
And that is not always taken as objective. I say it very objectively in my head, but in their head that has a narrative. So that's more the line is like, how do you navigate the line between I'm telling someone something that they might form their own narrative on? Do you just absolve yourself?
That's the thing about reading is the first, when you say something is objective, whether it's you're reading in a book, it's coming from you, that should be the first thing you look at and go, is it? You know what I mean? Like the thing
Well,
that
yeah, I
I'm
just
certain.
mean objective as in like from your head. You're not adding. You know, it's not like negative.
I would
For
argue that
example,
there is no objectivity at all.
No, there's always inherent bias. I think
Yeah.
like the only thing that I would say when you're talking about like if this girl was here and I read this,
Yeah.
the only thing that I think I would have felt bad about is how can I make this girl's life a spectacle and give it to everyone without with the thing that would be wrong is if you knew who it was in the room. If you didn't know who it was in the room, it wouldn't change anything for all of you. But
Yeah.
she would feel a certain way. So I think I understand that there's that level of like what is honesty and what's evil, but I think at the same time I'm not using it to I don't want something from this. I'm writing it down because it inspired me.
Yeah.
It inspired me to show more of how I perceive the world, I think.
Totally.
I think it does inform more about who you are as opposed to who she is, even though the majority is about.
But it's not about her at all, it's just
Exactly,
facts.
right.
The only things that I say about her are facts.
But they're not facts.
But not
You're
facts.
like, she's odd.
Facts.
No, facts, things that she says to me. Exactly, yeah, so maybe not facts.
It's very, like, it's really clear that it's all filtered through your lens.
Exactly, yes.
Like, that's glaringly, like, the whole point, I think.
Yeah.
In the
right?
moment, would you say those things to someone?
That's hard. I think it takes a lot of like investigation after to
Like the
even
nose
get down
job
to
moment.
that.
Did you say to her, I think you want me to flatter your vanity right now and I'm not gonna do it?
See, no, I would have said that.
So the funny part is, see the funny part is what I replied back to, and all I said, I just said you don't look like a boo. So obviously I didn't flatter her vanity in totality, but I also did give her what she asked for, because she was showing me photos, and I was
Did
just
you resent giving her what she asked for?
no, because I said it in passing.
What does that
Then
mean?
you gave
I just
her
I just answered her. She
you
asked
gave her
me a
what you wanted
question.
in your own way.
Yeah.
Do you love her?
I meant
She was gonna come tonight.
All it takes.
That was a question. Why are we laughing?
I wanted to not read this because of the controversy, but I was gonna
You should know.
Wait, no, I appreciate that question.
I do
It's
too.
not a question that I would
Yeah.
laugh at.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I've loved girls that I've met less than
No,
once,
it's
so
good.
I mean, that makes sense.
No, it was like a shockingly good one. Thrown off by it. Do you? Do you love her? Do you love her? Do you love her?
Could you love her?
Yeah, I think I could.
Could you still love her?
Yeah, but I think that when you meet someone for the first time, it's really hard to fully be there. Sometimes there's the moments of like, I'm trying to discover and I'm trying to like observe who this person is so I can know how to act.
You're analyzer.
Yeah, and I think that there comes to a big portion of like, especially when you meet a lot of different people, you don't always want to just throw yourself into just continue to have relationships with people. You look for things that you don't like and either point them out in your own head or isolate them and be like, I'm not sure if I want to continue that.
Was this off an app?
What?
Was this off an app? Did
her? No, I mean maybe Instagram, but no, not like a dating app. No.
I feel like it sounds like the opposite of loving her.
Wow.
Like, yeah. Or like,
Maybe.
Maybe it's just
liking
the
her.
term.
Almost sounds like disdain a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
For
what I
me,
was getting.
Because I feel like anytime I've loved someone, and this might be like an error on my part, but I almost like they can do no wrong. Like,
I honestly feel like you're loving yourself more than anything. Because the thing is, it's just like you're observing the situation. Well, what it sounds like. You're observing the situation, you're making decisions and assessments based off of it, based on your safety in general.
I'm keeping
And then the
distance, yeah.
thing is, it's like I feel like as humans, we don't realize how much we are related to animals, which do the same thing. A dog's not gonna just run up to you and start playing. They're gonna sniff you, you know? So
Exactly.
I think that's just like a natural defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Of all people, just to be cautious of what they venture their energy into.
There
Yeah.
seems to
Invest
be
in.
such a male. Sorry.
Yeah,
There seems to be such a male-female divide
Yeah.
on how everyone heard or read that story.
I think.
Yeah.
I just love how New York.
Yeah, I think.
It's so New York, and I think that, well, one sort of like filter and lens with which to view the story is like, is this something you do with a lot of frequency, or is this out of the ordinary for you? But I feel like in New York City, it's such a love child and a culture melting pot, and especially when you're not social for a while, when you go and you meet somebody, you tend to like hyperfixate, I think, on like their idiosyncrasies. And I think how you were dwelling on, she's this dental student in Columbia, and she lives on this street, and we're going to this part of Central Park. It's just, it's like the perfect New York City first date, which I think is just cute.
Are you a Salinger fan?
Relatively, maybe.
You know, like Holden Caulfield's Lady of the Night experience?
Yeah, when he just ends up talking to her. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's just like, I feel like I'm just being very honest about things. Like, I feel like
You're
her
not a
story.
phony.
What?
You're not a phony.
No, I'm probably a phony, but I think I'm just telling you how I view things, honestly, from the literary perspective of who this person was.
I think the Holden Caulfield paradox might be that the genuineness is in acknowledging how ungenuine it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also like the same language as Catcher in the Rye. A lot of the same, the end-alls and the hell.
I think that
If it's
people
full
are.
of truth.
Oh, sorry. I think that people are saying like it kind of seems like not like misogynistic, but like very critical in a way that's like seems like you don't have like a lot of like empathy for this person. But I think like hearing it, like I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like I think that it was very like honest in a way that was like vulnerable. Because most people, if they felt this way about somebody, wouldn't like say it in front of everyone. And I also think that it's like I know that anybody that like describes people in this way, or I like read it as like they probably are criticizing themselves in the same way, and that's why it feels vulnerable in a way to me. Yeah.
I think there's beauty in the criticality that you were giving to her. I think you actually love her through the criticality.
I don't know if I would want to talk about that. They're not. Okay. So not that one.
There's somewhere, no, I don't, not unless anyone has a question.
I did love that.